Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday to everyone. Good morning. I am so happy that we are back for another day, another week to continue talking about how to take care of our mental health. Good morning. Welcome back to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to our conversation for the end of the year. Remember, I'm going to be here to talking about children mental health, and we have been talking about the neurodevelopmental under children mental health. I know you guys, I know this is, well, it's fun for me, but I know this is the boring part. I am going to get to the juicy parts, but this is still, to me, juicy. But again, I am biased because I love everything I do. So we are going to continue be talking about children mental health, the neurodevelopmental under children mental health. Welcome back, everyone. You guys know how I do it. Before I start with the subject for today, before I start with the topic for today, I always stop any part of my video to ask you guys, what did you do last week to take care of your mental health? What did you do? While you guys are thinking about what you did last week to take care of your mental health, I want to share with you guys what I did to take care of my mental health. So I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I lost motivation. Sometimes I lost motivation for my daily stuff, self-care, anything. Like I lost motivation to work out. I lost motivation to work. I lost motivation to clean my house, to cook, to sometimes even to walk my dog. I will lose motivation to make my bed. I lost motivation. And I don't know, what do you guys do to get your motivation back? Tell me, share with me. What do you guys do to get your motivation back? But there's a few things that I did last week when I lost my motivation. I wanted to say I wanted to say maybe the week before I was losing my motivation. And then I'm like, you know what? This week I'm going to do better because I have to motivate. I have to do things. I know I speak with you guys before we got in discipline and motivation, and sometimes discipline showed up for me. But sometimes we do need our motivation. We need our motivation to do basic things, daily things, easy things, hard things. We need our motivation to do it. So last week I did 2 different techniques to help me. One of them that I did, I'm a structure person. I love seeing things on paper. I love seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I love doing that. So structure for me, it's something that helped me with my motivation. So what I did, the Sunday before Monday, I grabbed my notebook. I write down my to-do list. I write down my daily routine, not even to-do list, my daily routine. So I write down the time I need to wake up, and I did it every 30 minutes. So I normally wake up at 7 a.m. So 7 a.m. I wake up, 7:30 this needs to be done, 8 a.m. this needs to be done, 8:30 this needs to be done. So I write things down. I work between this day and this time. I do this and that, and then I write what I need to do. Even started to make my bed, clean my house, cook, wash the dishes, go to work out at this time, do this with my dog. And every time I accomplish it, I check it. It feels so good to me when I check it. When I wake up and I say, my bed is made, check. I cooked today, check. I drank this amount of water, check. I went out, I walk out today, check. So I did my structure, my daily routine that helped me getting my motivation back. Now, I know it's easy said and done. I implemented something else to help me accomplish those tasks that I put down. So I did the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 techniques. That is the techniques that I use. I forgot the lady name that come up with it. She had a podcast and she have a books. Forgot her name now. But she's the one who invented, I wanted to say, these techniques. And she mentioned, you never see like a rocket that's going to space and they have count for it. They have like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, rocket go to space. That's where that techniques come from when she explained it. So what I did, how I use that techniques is I'm giving myself 5 seconds to do the activity that I need to do. So when I wake up in my bed and then I know I have to get up at 7 and my alarm wake me up and I'm still in that bed, I give myself that 5 seconds. I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I need to get up because I'm giving myself that 5 seconds. Or if I'm sitting down in the couch and I know I need to wash my dishes, I give myself that 5 seconds. I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I get up. I did that dishes. So I'm giving myself 5 seconds. That's what I did, you guys, last week to help me get in motivation. I create to-do lists, daily to-do lists, and then I give myself the 5 seconds. I call it, well, I don't know what she called it, but I call it the 5 second wolves, kind of. That's what I call it. So what about you guys? What did you do last week to taking care of your mental health? So let's continue. I have another topic under the neurodevelopmental to continue talking about children's mental health for today. The topic that I have for today is communication disorder. So that's what I have for today, communication disorder. What is communication disorder? What is that really? Communication disorder, it's a group of conditions that affecting a child's ability to use, to understand, and to produce language effectively. So I'll say it again. Communication disorder, it's a group of conditions that affect children's ability to use, to understand, and to produce language effectively. So before I go over the group conditions, I want you guys to understand 3 different things under communication. Under communication, there's 3 main major things that a lot of people confuse and they don't understand. One of them is speech, language, and communication. Those 3 things are really different. So if I'm talking about speech, speech is the sound of the words that I make. And with speech, I use my mouth, I use my tongue, I use my voice, I use the tone of voice that I have to create speech. For example, if a child, instead of saying cat, that child say tat. Now I'm going to say this child have a speech issue because that child is not saying the words, the sounds of the cat doesn't come out. It come out tat. So that is a sound and that is a speech issue. Now, the other one is language issue. Language is words, vocabulary, grammar. So that's what language are. Language are words and rules, right? So for example, we focus more in language. In language, there is 2 different things. So there is where I receive the language, like I understand it, and then I'm able to express the language. So I'm able to say the word. For example, a child who cannot follow a simple directions, like go get your shoes, I will say that child have a language issue. If I say, go get your shoes, go pick up your cup, and that child is like, huh? What? they don't understand it. Then I'm going to say, oh, it's a language issue or it's a language barriers, right? Like I know for my niece, she understands Creole when we speak Creole to her, but she doesn't say the Creole word. She will respond to us in English, which means that, okay, and that's one of my niece. Okay, she understands the word, she understands Creole, but she doesn't know how to express it. So remember, in every disorder, there's mild, there's moderation, there's severe, and there's profound. So that person can have a mild language issue, they can have a moderation language issue, the same as speech, because that person might not be able to use their mouth to create certain things, and them, or they might not be able to use their tongue or their tone of voice. Why there's some kids that speak so loud, right? Or there's some kids that speak, the tone of voice is different. Like they use certain voice to create the speech, right? And in language, it can be the same thing. The kids can understand the language, but they don't know how to express the language. The next one is communication. Communication is a word of exchanging information. It's a way that we connected. And under communication, you see speech, you see language, you see gesture. I know some people say I use my hand a lot to talk. Like my hand actually helped me communicate. We use our body expression. We use our facial expression. We use, our body. And sometimes we even use technology to communicate, right? We text, right? We use our pen to communicate. We write letters, or back in the day, they used to do that more. But communication, what we focus more in communication is the connections. It's how that kids is interacting with other people. For example, kids who have autism, their speech might be great. They might have great language. They understand. But they might not be able to sit there and communicate it with someone. Like they might not be able to sit there and say like, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm fine. What about you? Like they might not be able to do that. But they might be able to talk, use their mouth. They will understand you. They might have language for it, but they might not have the communication to do it. So I want you guys to understand those three different parts under communication disorder before I go over the condition. Because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, he have a speech issue, when no, that person have a language issue, or when no, that person have a communication issues, or no, when that person really have a speech issue. Those things are different. I hope you guys understand. Continue following me to social media, because I know sometimes in social media I give more real explanation about those things that I talk to during my video. So if you want to connect with me, I am on TikTok, I am on Facebook, and I am on Instagram, and I talk a little bit more. And if you have any questions, you want me to sit on something more, let me know and I will reach out to you. I know that happened to me a lot. I have people that's actually testing me, and I have people that's like, DM me and ask me, and I give you more information. But because I don't want this video to be long, for the purpose of this video, I'm keeping my explanation very short. Now let's move on. What is some of those group conditions that is under the communication disorder? Now I explain speech, language, and communication. This is going to make this very easy. One of the condition is language disorder. So when you hear language disorder, what I'm telling you, the kids have a hard time to understand, and the kids have a hard time to express themselves. So that is language disorder. The next one is when that kids have a speech sound disorder, which means that the kids have a hard time to pronunciate. The kids have a hard time to make words of sounds with words, right? And the next one is childhood onset fluency disorder. And then that is when the kid is stutter. So there's different things in stutter. We see some kids that's like repeating words. So like when the kids say mama, 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 mama. So they're repeating words. or when they prolong the word. So when they go like mama, mama, or they go mama, right? So there's different type of stutters. So that again, speech might be great, language might be great, but they have the fluency of the conversation. And then the next one, it's social communication disorder. So that individual has a hard time understanding cue and communication. They have a hard time understanding body language. They have a hard time understanding when it's their turn to talk, when it's their turn to wait, or sometimes they say inappropriate language different places. Like you never see someone you're having a conversation with and then they just come up with like the weirdest conversation and you're like, where is this coming from? This is not even appropriate of the conversation that we are having. So we will say that individual have a social communication disorder. And then there's some unspecific ones that, that haven't been studying. And I'm quite sure when the next DSM-5 showed up that we go into, well, it's not going to be DSM-5, it's going to probably be DSM-6 showed up that, research science psychologists will come up with some more communication condition that's under communication disorder. Now, what is some of those causes of communication disorder? I'm glad that I'm already talking about children, neurodevelopmental issues, because I already talk about some of those causes. So some of those causes can be developmental delay, some of those causes can be intellectual disability, some of those causes can be autism, some of those causes can be head injury, some of those causes can be auditory issues, like when the kids have hearing loss, they're unable to hear. Some of those causes can be brain injury, and some of those causes we do not know. Like we're not sure why. And of course, I always say, like some of those causes can be family, genetic, right? Some family, you see it in some family. But there's some cause we do not know still under the communication disorder. There is different treatment for communication disorder, and all of them depending on the diagnosis of the child. So if the child is diagnosed with a speech disorder, then there's speech therapy that can help that child. If that child is diagnosed with a language disorder, then there's language therapy that can help that child. Or both. Like let's say if that child is diagnosed with stutter and then they have issues with their speech as well as their language, then they can provide them with both of those services. If that child is struggling more in the social piece of it, the social communication skills, then that child can have behavior therapy. They can have mental therapy. If that child or communication skills or even some social skill that you can teach that child. Like I mentioned to all my video with children, the early, the better. Early intervention, I wanted to say if you see that child is having some type of issues, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, getting them that early intervention, that early help that child a lot. I know sometimes people is like, why do you speak so slow? Again, it's for my speech. It's for my language, right? Because English is not my primary language. And that is something I wanted to mention. Okay, I'm glad I remind my own self about it. That is something I wanted to mention. So some kids who's bilingual, it is hard to give them a communication diagnosis. Now, this is the question a lot of parents asking me. A lot of parents is asking me, okay, then should I speak Creole or Spanish or another language in the home? Will that cause my child to have a communication disorder? No. The answer is no. Speaking different language in the home actually help your child with pronunciation, with language, understanding, communications, cue, and all those things. So speaking another language in the home do not give your child a communication disorder. However, if you do speak another language and then it's really hard to determine. I always normally say that kids who's going to evaluate that child, they need to speak that kid's other language, because they need to evaluate that child in that other language. Like, let's say if the child in the home, they speak Creole as well as French as well as English, then it's almost, again, it's not impossible, but you might need an evaluator that speak all three language, just so to make sure if this is like, where is that child? Because sometimes, I know for me, there's some words in Creole that I'm great at pronunciating, but there's some word in English that I have no idea. I cannot hear that pronunciation, but that doesn't mean I have a communication issue, because there's certain words I can say, right? I can say my T's, I can say my Z's, I can say my S, and it's certain in Creole. But I might struggle with my W and my R in English. But I can say my W and my R great in Creole, right? So it's really very difficult when the kid is bilingual. It's not impossible, but it's just difficult. And bilingual do not mean communication issues. Accent do not mean communication issues. Unable to pronunciate certain things and certain things do not mean they have a communication issues. I know my mom correct me a lot when I'm speaking Creole, but that doesn't mean, like, okay, because she's correcting my words doesn't mean, okay, I have it, because I have it in English. Right? There's certain words that I have in English, I do not have it in Creole. But there's certain words that I have in Creole that I do not have it in English. So, yeah, I wanted to say that. And if you are suspected that your child have a communication issues, and some of those signs and symptoms is seeing that your child doesn't babble. Your child doesn't babbling at a certain age. Like they don't even play with the mouth. They don't like blah, 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 blah. The kids, they play with the tongue, they play with the mouth. If you seen that, then I understand basic guidance, basic direction. If you seen there's a lot of noise around and they're not turning, you can say, like there's something, maybe, there's some hearing loss going on. I know a lot of primary physicians do check those children. And again, be honest, pay attention, observe your child, because you will know. And like I say, with children, early intervention is always the best. If you are suspected there's something, communication issues with your child, speak with the doctor. Let the doctor know, and the doctor can do a little examination. And if the doctor is not sure, they will refer that child for an evaluation, a more in-depth evaluation. And then with the evaluation, they can determine what kind of services that child need. Early intervention, it's always the best with children mental health. Okay, so this is where we're going to end our video for today. We always end our video with a dose of self-care, so we are going to read our dose of self-care for today. I love this dose of self-care for today, by the way. So, especially since I'm speaking with my Haitian community that I know that have that issue. Okay, let me read the dose of self-care. So the dose of self-care for today say, don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it. I know in my culture, the Haitian community, we have learned, don't worry, I will touch about it. We got under parenting. We have learned how to not ask support when we need it. We will die before we ask for support. And talking about children mental health, you need support. You might need support from the primary physician. You might need support from someone like me. You might need support from niece, nephew. You might need support from auntie, uncles. You might need support from church. You might need support from school. So do not be afraid to ask for support when you need it. There's support out there. Do not be afraid. I want to thank all of you guys who sit there and listen to this video. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of you guys who subscribes to the channel. And if this is your first time, you learn something to this video, interact with the video. Even if this is not your first time, I do encourage you to interact with the video, because the more interaction there is, the more someone can find us. We need more people. We need people to find us. So interact. Even if you're not subscribed yet, like the video, comment. Even if the comment say good job, even if the comment is like a thumbs up, do something interacted with the video to help me. Okay, you guys, have a great Monday. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.